Good evening, friends. This is Rahul Magan here as a Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting, and also a venture capitalist. And this video we are going to be shooting on 30th October 2020. But before I cover this video and a pretty important topic for the young guns, I would like to remind you that like any other YouTube video, our YouTube video also having a dialog box. In this dialog box, there is a link. If you click on this link, then you would reach to the free groups by Treasury Consulting, which covers LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, WhatsApp, and all. Lots of free groups. Okay, let's start that. We all understand that the global economy is facing a lot of mess. There is no doubt about that. While I talking to you, I am looking at my Bloomberg and Reuters, Bloomberg TV and Reuters. If I see Reuters, the gold is around 1880, while Euro is struggling and trying to breach 1.1650. More or less the same is the situation with GBP also. This is one side of looking. As we speak, this is 30th October 2020. Precisely, we are 4 days away from US elections, and US elections would happen on 3rd November. Even, like unlike last time, this time we are not sure who is going to win because different polls on Bloomberg and Reuters are suggesting different things. Someone is suggesting Trump, someone is suggesting Biden, and someone is suggesting a close fight like a cricket match. It is very, very difficult. Treasury Consulting is thinking Trump will win, but having said that, our plans are completely ready for Biden also. So backup plans are completely ready if Biden will win. Considering all, today I was watching Bloomberg bankruptcy index and I was searching through the Google and I got a lot of information in that regards, lots and lots of information. But before I proceed, let me elaborate one information for you. Give me 1 minute, guys. Yeah, here we go. Let me open this for you and let me read. ExxonMobil is amongst the largest petrochemical player of the globe. I would say Exxon and Aramco. They are the largest player in the globe. And their strengths, their capabilities, I really don't think that ExxonMobil needs any introduction in that regards. Let me read this for you. Exxon will slash the global workforce by 15% over the next 2 years, an unprecedented culling as it struggled to preserve dividends. The cuts will include 1,900 jobs in US, mostly in Houston, as well as reduction in contractors and layoffs previously announced in Europe and Australia. The cuts are CEO Darren Wood's latest effort in halt the worst sitting of quarterly losses is Exxon assumed to modern form after 1991 takeover of Mobil. Now let me tell you something. Brent set for a record monthly loss in October. I'll show some numbers to you, which was given on Bloomberg. Around October 2019, which is 1 year from now, the Brent monthly change was minus 0.555%. Okay. November 2019 plus 2.2. December 3.57 plus. January 21 minus 7.84. We know the reason. February minus 7.64. We know the reason. March minus 28%. We know the reason. April 2.53 plus. May 10.06. We know because slowly the lockdowns were opened. June 5.82. July, August more or less flat. September, October again minus 4.33 and minus 3.18. It means that commodities are in mess. There is no doubt about that. Of course, few players, few companies are giving unnecessarily statements that they are keeping a hype in commodities. Example, nickel. Without any fundamental, nickel is growing. without any fundamental. And I'm telling you, you know, probably one shot and nickel will fall. And that's why our commodity desk is not buying nickel. We are waiting for the right time to buy, because unnecessarily hype is given by few people in nickel, and nickel is growing. Let it be. Considering all this, there is one important thing that we need to understand, and the young guns need to understand, which is the metal company stocks. Of course, yesterday we are the one who shot the video that Chinese bought around 29% of the total capacity of Indian steel. And one of the important questions which we raised is that in this coronavirus situation, in this pandemic, when worldwide there is no demand of steel or very small demand of steel, how come Chinese need Indian steel, and that too to the tune of 29%, when China himself is the largest producer of steel in the globe? But this question is still unanswered, at least to me. Today we got another news. Billionaire Anil Agarwal. When we talk about Anil Agarwal, the first name we get in the mind is the Vedanta. Billionaire Anil Agarwal, Singapore listed holding company Vedanta will struggle to cover its cash requirement in January to March quarter, which is on the way. The rating agency Moody's said, and they also said that cash shortfall will deteriorate throughout September 2022, which precisely means around 2 years. They also said that credit analysts are focusing on 7.5 billion debt, which is about 50% of the group total debt, which means group total debt is 15 billion, which is, by the way, not a small amount, is due in March 2022. It includes 2.5 billion of Vedanta Resource Limited and around 425 million of Vedanta Resource Limited sole shareholder Vulcan Investment and rest. I am not here talking about exclusively on Vedanta. I'm not here talking about why did Vedanta delisting fail. That is outside the scope of this video. What I wanted to talk is something which is very, very important, which is that India is not an exception. There are many listed metal stocks we have in India. Many listed metal stocks we have in India. One of them is Reliance, Vedanta. There are many. Reliance is an exception because even today, the way they reported profit is like, I don't know, they are doing business in some separate world. But if we exclude Reliance, there are many metal stocks which we have, those who are really struggling for survival. Our media and our operators are very kind that they are trying to give hype to these stocks. Like, I don't name, but one or two steel stocks, those who are listed, they are getting very decent hype on in the media. And I'm sure many novice investors must have bought it as well, except us. We really need to understand one thing very carefully, that, and especially for the young investor, that the situation is really tough. Today I got one picture from my friend in Paris. He lives actually in Paris. He said that there was a long jam on the Paris roads before lockdown second. And I was thinking, it is just Paris and basically Germany and France who is going ahead with the lockdown. Greece also confirmed it, by the way, and probably many other countries will confirm this as soon as possible because the situation is getting worst. And European Central Bank head Christine Lagarde made it clear yesterday that European Central Bank is ready for another round of quantitative easing. But I always doubt, what do you mean by quantitative easing? Hey guys, from where you get the money? There is no source of money. After Federal Reserve, European Central Bank is the second largest central bank with a huge debt, ballooning balance sheet. How will you arrange the money? That's more important. But anyways, we need to understand that we need to have a very low profile in terms of metal stocks. Although, as I speak, Russian Direct Investment Fund has submitted application to the World Health Organization for the emergency use listing and pre-qualification of Sputnik V vaccine. The Russian Sovereign Wealth Fund said in a statement, in India, the Russian Direct Investment Fund has partners with the Dr. Reddy Laboratory for conducting clinical trial. Right? Now don't talk whether we are long in Dr. Reddy or not. We know what we need to do. So one side, Russia is trying very hard for vaccine. And why Russia? Many countries are trying very hard for vaccine. US is also trying hard for vaccine. Because situation is getting worse in US, Russia and Europe and many countries of the globe. And this scenario I think will continue probably for another 6 months, because this time winters would be really tough for many. And I don't think that we need to take a blind call as far as the commodity stocks are concerned. I think we should be very precautious, we should be very serious, and due diligence and research. By due diligence doesn't mean company due diligence. By due diligence, as I mean the research needs to be done before ending up buying any commodities related stock. Oil is falling, guys. And if I tell you, as I speak with you, let me show you, check from my Reuters. Wait a minute. Yeah. As I speak with you, the New York Mercantile Exchange December contract is around 35.42, while for Brent is 37.40. Net to net $2 difference, thankfully. But I might not be surprised that after US election this spread will go widen or it will narrow. And that's very important. Today, the young investors, the seasoned investors, and the professional investors need to understand that investing in commodity stock is taking a big risk. Whether it is oil denominated stock, steel denominated stock, there are many listed stock. And very importantly, before you invest in any stock, one thing which you need to do is the debt profiling. Currently, we identified few stocks whereby huge amount of debt is set to roll over next year. I assume it is rollover, because if I look at the company balance sheet, I really doubt whether the company is in a situation to pay that debt. Let me give you an example. Large upcoming debt maturities and VRL. VRL stands for Vedanta Resource Limited. Negative free cash flow in 21 also increase the risk it might run out of liquidity. I'm not saying this, Moody's saying this. And I'm sure many people, those who are watching this video, do not know how to compute free cash flow. That's more important. And Vedanta is not an exception. There are many listed metal stocks in that category. What we generally see in a listed stock, we see in the media, we see stock price, and we see movement. We don't see these things. Our hedge fund desk is very clear that in 21 and probably from November, we would be re-evaluating all metal stocks. And thankfully, Reuters and Bloomberg are allowing us to get this done. And based upon the debt profiling, negative cash flow, and many other things, we would be reassessing the intrinsic value in these stocks. And that is what the message of this video. And if any of these so-called commodities-based stock fallen, probably November, December, that doesn't mean I'm going to buy it. I will see whether it is the right time to buy it or it is the right time to leave it. That's more important. I hope people are getting what I wanted to say. Thank you. Before I conclude, today a C category people wrote me a message and he said that, why do you short videos when no one likes it? Mr. C category, now get our projections. Before December 2020, Treasury Consulting would cross 5,200 videos on YouTube. And before 2021 December, we will cross more than 10,000 videos on YouTube and become the largest YouTube channel of the globe in terms of video. You and others, those who are part of paid media, write anything. It doesn't make a difference because we are committed to short as maximum videos as possible. Maybe somebody who paid you to write against us not told you that you are facing Rahul Magan. That is. And I already told you several times, we are not bothered about the subscriber count. No. Because we know the kind of messages we get on WhatsApp, YouTube, and LinkedIn. We know even the best management institution faculties admitted on WhatsApp that the content which we are providing on the YouTube even not taught in the business school. And this is just a beginning. And one more negative news for you people, that today we started YouTube Shorts. And now we're going to have very short 15-second crisp video on YouTube Short, which will directly upload on the YouTube. But this is for our other channel, which is Treasury X. So actions are on the cards. Have a great time. Thank you.